fell. So now I'm assuming you want me to explain why he said that? Well, yeah, I think I'm going to have to. The guy in the back said no, but I think you need to hear this. The good thing is I'm probably not going to see any of you guys ever again. So if you judge me, I can just go home and sleep like a baby and not care. Well, what I mean, well, actually, I'm the result of the biggest international fuckfest / gangbang in history. When I say that, I mean it. Like, a lot of people from literally every part of the world screwed so I could get here. Like, this is not even a joke. Like, I grew up in I'm an American, obviously. A lot of people, they look at me and they really can't tell where I'm from. So, and it's kind of complicated because my dad, he was in the Army. My parents aren't even from the same place. So, and so when people ask me where I'm from, I tend to say my mom's vagina, because that's the easiest, it's the easiest thing to say because it's so complicated. I mean, because I was born in Washington, me and my older sister were, and then I have two other sisters. One was born in Germany and the other one was born in Oklahoma, and we lived everywhere. And so our parents, brought us up in a very multicultural environment. Our family was very multicultural, so we learned a lot about that, and we got to know both sides of the family, and my family is freaking huge. But I didn't know to what level my family had mixed it up until I got older. And I was actually in an almost 20-year relationship. I'm actually separated right now. I know I probably don't look old enough, but I'm actually separated. I was with somebody almost 20 years, and we got together when we were 17. I lost my virginity to him. So, yeah, he was talking about sex not too long ago, and I was thinking, I don't have I don't have an adventurous sex life because of kind of the upbringing I had, but I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we got together, we were like 17, we got married, we were 22. And since we were kids, people used to think that we were siblings. And so, like I said, the older I got more interested in my family's ancestry and history. So I had my parents, take DNA tests, and I took one myself. And so the older we got, people just kept asking if him and I were related. So I made him take one too. Here's where shit gets weird. Here's where shit got weird. No, this is real. This is real. Okay. My family got it on to such level. They were indiscriminate. They were with everyone to such a level. I get an email from a guy from Czechoslovakia. This is not a joke. He messages me saying, "Hey, my name's Thomas. How are you? Seems that via DNA testing, we're related." And I was like, shit. Okay, well, so I emailed him back, and I was like, well, nice to meet you. And, we started talking. We were actually FaceTiming almost every day. So, trying to find out, genealogical stuff. And turns out that not only was my information coming up in his information, but my soon-to-be ex, his stuff was coming up too, as well as my dad's. So I asked him, so can you explain this to me? And he was like, well, it's a possibility that I might be related to all three of you. And I was like, for real? And so I call ancestry support. That's real. That's a real number. I called and I said I think we have a mix-up. It seems that there's this guy from Czechoslovakia. He's definitely related. We've checked the DNA samples and everything that came with the emails and everything. He's definitely related, but it seems that my dad's and my ex's stuff is coming up too. Can you explain this to me? The lady says, he's probably related to all three of you. She really said it like that. And I was like, are you serious? And so he actually sent paperwork proving that it was true. All three of us are in fact related. Seems that, yeah. So I was, all this time, I was married to my cousin. And I didn't know he was my cousin. But thankfully, we're distant, thank God. But yeah, so he was my cousin, husband. I was a wife, cousin, wife. He used to make me queef. Not anymore. But I was like, wow. So now I know why people thought that we kind of resembled, because even coming here, when I would show pictures of him to my students, when he would have like full facial hair, they thought he was my dad. They thought he looked like my dad. I'm like, how? And so that's why that was the last straw. So I made him take the DNA test. Now let's talk about this Czechoslovakian cousin. Apparently there were other attempted romantic passes made at me from cousins that I was meeting. Yes. And it was the Czechoslovakian cousin was one of them. Well, it started off as we were just innocently, look, I was minding my own affairs, and I just wanted to know how he was related to me. Like I said, I found out how he's related to me, but I still to this day don't quite know how he's related to my ex. But he started showing signs of being interested in me for more than just a platonic cousin, let's find out how we're related. How are you also related to my ex and my dad and fun things? And I'm like, I actually had to stop talking to him because it got to the point where, I mean, he has a girlfriend and he was going to be getting married also. And then I don't envision my next husband, husband number 2, because that's what it'll be. Let's be real. I don't really envision it being, oh, we met via Ancestry.com. We're cousins. Don't trip. We're distant. So it's not really, yeah. And unfortunately, this is not the first time a cousin hit on me. I know. They think I'm hot. People think I'm hot. Girls like me too. I mean, nothing against lesbians. I like you guys too. You guys are great. I'm just not into girls. I'm more of a dicks before chicks kind of girl. I'm not. I'm just not. I mean, you like what you like. I like dudes, but they like me. Cousins too, apparently. Yeah. Well, I actually met a few cousins even here. And one of them was like, he's old enough to be all of our granddads, actually. And I met up with him a few times, and because, I was, of course, doing genealogical research. He did the same thing. Two of them I had to cut off because they thought that, hey, since we're distant, why not? And I think that's disgusting. And then on top of that, they're both married. So why would, you know what I'm saying? And so apparently incest is a thing in my family. And I didn't know to what level, because I was finding out with these cousins, and I'm like, oh yeah. So there were a few of them I had to drop it. I'm like, I don't need to know necessarily how I relate to you, because now that's disgusting. But I also wanted to tell you guys something interesting. Y'all want to know how I found out that I had Jewish ancestry in my family? This is a weird thing, actually, that happened. I grew up in a very conservative family. I promise they're not right-wing, gun-toting, Bible-thumping type of family necessarily, but conservative as in no sex outside of marriage type. That's why I lost my virginity at 22, because my dad would shoot anything that moves. He's still like that now. Yeah, he almost shot a poor little bunny rabbit that was trying to break into his house. He thought it was a person, but it was a bunny rabbit. He didn't kill it, thank God, but that was great. He told us about that. It was awesome. But speaking of, well, I found out, it was weird. I actually had a dream about it. Like I was saying, I grew up in the type of Christian family where, I don't know if you guys believe in miracles. Have you guys ever had miracles happen to you? Supernatural experiences? UFOs, aliens, maybe. Has anybody had anything? Oh, just one guy. Well, that's 2 of you. Well, I grew up in a home where supernatural experiences were our norm. Like, really? I would be here all day if I told you the things that happened to me. I mean, they happened to me since I was very young. And I know a lot of people may be thinking, well, since you grew up in a conservative family, are you still a believer? Do you still adhere to Christianity and Christian principles? Well, the principles, yeah, because, I mean, they're, good morals and, that type of thing, but not that crazy shit. But speaking of, I mean, it seemed that I grew up in the type of home where prayers were often answered. So if I prayed about something, I always got an answer. So I did. I actually ended up having a dream where I dreamt, I was in junior high school, I dreamt that I was a Jewish woman being killed in the Holocaust. Like, I'm not making fun of the Holocaust at all. I think that was a horrible thing that happened. But I dreamed that I was actually dying in the Holocaust. And then years later, I take the DNA test, and I find out that we have Jewish ancestry. You guys don't think that was weird? Is that a coincidence, you think? You think? And then another one I had, actually. I wanted to know before I took the DNA test, I wanted to know a little more about my family history and where they came from and things like that. And so I said, okay, well, I wonder where they came from. Okay, I had a dream. Me and my dad we went to Puerto Rico, that's where he's from, actually. And it's like we were watching a movie screen where it was showing all the different regions where everybody came from. And then I take the DNA test and it's dead on. Things like that. So, but thank you guys, you all have been wonderful.
Good job.